Welcome to Weekend Wake Up. I'm your host, Mayor Dan Saracki, along with our new producer, Barb, and engineer Mark. Welcome, you two. I'm so glad you're here. Before we get started, just a reminder, if you have any questions, be sure to post them. I'll come back at the end of this episode to answer them. I want to start out with Oldsmar reminders. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's USA BMX Gator Nationals right here at our BMX track. Supercross track, over 1,000 BMX riders are anticipated to compete in the 2022 Gator Nationals. Free admission. Daily parking is only $10. Weekend parking for the whole weekend is $25. Free shuttle from Curlew Creek Elementary School. More info at experienceoldsmar.com. Second Friday is back, October 14th, 6 to 9 p.m., State Street West. The Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce is putting that on. It's right next to City Hall. You don't want to miss it. Second Friday is a fun event for families and everyone. And don't forget, there's a car show there. You can bring your Oldsmobile if you want. Spacecraft is back Wednesdays and Fridays at Bicentennial Park, 5:30 to 7 p.m. Go to Bicentennial Park and get some education. The Holly Jolly Trolley Tour, Saturday, October 15th, is being put on by the Oldsmar Historical Society. It's only $20 per person. Take the trolley, learn a lot about our city's history, about where the properties are in our city, and just learn more about our city. First trolley leaves at 10 a.m. We have 12 tickets left for the 10 a.m. show. Noon, the second trolley leaves at noon. We have 5 tickets left. And 2 p.m. tour, we have 18 tickets left. Next, community workshop, City of Oldsmar's comprehensive plan. Help plan the city's vision to 2043. Yes, the vision of 2043. It's Wednesday, October 19th. It's 6 to 8 p.m. at the Hampton Inn Suites. Please join us. Join Opal Theater for a free production of Disney's Moana Jr. on Saturday, October 15th, beginning at 7 p.m. at Ariel's Park. It's free. It's a family event. Bring your lawn chairs. Come out and watch that show. It's going to be a great presentation by the Opal Theater. I think I got everything except learn more about Rain and Pollution Gardens. Is that it? At Bicentennial Park, Saturday, October 8th at 9 a.m. Be prepared to walk. That's Rain and I don't even know how to say that word, but anyways, it's at the Bicentennial Park Organic Garden. All right, let's move on. I'm honored to introduce our guest today, John Spinella, president of the Oldsmar Club of Florida. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Dan.
I am so glad you could join us today.
I'm glad to be here.
Perfect. Let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about the Olds Club of Florida. When was the club founded?
The club was founded in 1995. It was put together by a group of guys that I guess met at different car shows throughout Florida. Some were from Jacksonville, some were from Orlando and the Tampa area. But they decided to get together and form a club. They wanted to have it centrally located, so their target was Orlando. They got with some of the Orlando car dealers, and they thought it was a great idea. And the Orlando dealers would let us have our meetings and our gatherings every month. They'd put on a car show, and people would come to see the cars and look at the new Oldsmobile. So it worked out for both of us. And eventually, the Orlando, when Oldsmobile stopped production in 2004, the dealers closed up, and we moved around. So we've been basically working out of the Tampa Bay area. The majority of the members are in this area, but we try to spread things out throughout the state every chance we get.
Yeah, that's great. I remember a couple times we went to a museum.
Yep. We've been in Ocala at the parts warehouse. They opened their shop up to us. They have over 200 cars available. We've gone to a couple of different museums here, and they're happy to have us.
One of my favorites was that old train station.
That's in Plant City, and we're planning on being there in November. So they have a big show, and we're going to have usually have a luncheon with our meetings, and they have the whistle stop right there. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have our meeting at the whistle stop, and
that's where we had it last time. Yep. And there was it was actually a car show going on.
It is, yeah, and it's right across the street from the car show, so it's a convenient spot for us.
Is it a chapter of the Oldsmobile Club of America?
We are. We're the only chapter in Florida at this point. There's another group down in South Florida that I hear are going to be trying to become a chapter, but it hasn't happened just yet. But they're all welcome to come to our events. So
now, a few weeks ago or several weeks ago, you guys were up in Nashville, Tennessee. Would you tell us a little about that?
Yes, the Olds Club of America, which is like the big, it encapsulates all the local chapters. So we have our Olds Nationals, and it was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and so we had a pretty good turnout. We ended up going to the Nashville Super Speedway, and we took our cars. We did 5 laps around the track behind an Olds original Olds pace car. And then we have our big show, and they have a big swap meet, and they have we went to Opryland, and they have all kinds of festivities and different things that we can do planned around that week that we're up there.
Why don't you share with us the award that you won?
The club actually won an award. The president of the Olds Club of America, Sal Barberi, when he was handing out awards, he says, we've got a special award for the club that had the most members. And he started out by saying, we had 3 clubs that had a lot of members here. And the first club had 34 members here. And he said, then he named the club. And he says, but they weren't the most. He says, another club had 35 members. And so he named that club, and they thought they had it. He says, the club with the most members, and he said 35 members, and somebody yelled out 36. He says, I'll give you 36. He says, I'll even give you 37. He says, but the club with the most members was the Olds Club of Florida.
Yeah.
So we got a nice plaque, and it's our 2nd year in a row, and we haven't even been trying to get that award. We just happen to have the most members present at the Nationals. So it was kind of cool. It's a nice award to have.
Now, were there any awards for your cars or any other cars in the club?
I entered my car, and I took a first place in my division, and several of our members took best of class. I think we had 4, maybe 5 members take best of class, but several first place places were awarded.
That's great. Let's talk a little about leadership. How long have you served as the club officer?
Well, I'm in my rookie season as president right now. So December, I'm wrapping it up. We're getting ready to have elections, and we'll see what happens. If they want me back, I'll be back.
Well, you're doing a great job. Now, I started the club back in 2015. Our past city manager, Bruce Haddock, got me involved. He asked me to go to a meeting, and I fell in love with the club. How long have you been a member?
I've only been a member since 2019. I actually joined during Oldsmar Days and Nights during the Oldsmobile Car Show. I've always loved Oldsmobiles. And in high school, I drove a 68 F85, and I took a class in Florida history. And one of my assignments, or one of the class assignments, was to find a topic in Florida and give an oral report on. Well, I'm going through the book, and I find the City of Oldsmar and how it Ransom Eli Olds founded it in 1916, I believe. And so that was my report, and it fell right into my lap. I was in love with those mobiles back then, and still am today.
I bet you got an A+.
I don't remember. I probably got a good grade, though.
I bet you
probably
did.
got a good grade.
Your teacher was like, man, he learned about Olds, Mr. Olds. What nonprofits does the club support?
Our main charity is the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch. We try to make a sizable donation to them every year. They invite us to their awards banquets where some of their ranchers, as they call them, the students there, are awarded every year for some of the projects they get into, whether they mentor some of the older ones, mentor some of the younger ones, and they excel in sports, or they excel in class, or just all around good personalities, and they award the kids, and we were fortunate enough to attend that this year, and it's really a good feeling to see all these kids that really don't have a home to go to get these awards, and they're like a family. All these kids are like a family. They cheer each other, and it's really great. It's a great charity to be involved with.
Yeah, next year I want to go to that. I missed it this year. I was out of town, but next year. Let's talk about, how can a person join the club? How much does it cost? And do you have to have an Oldsmobile to be a member of the club?
Well, first off, you don't have to have an Oldsmobile. You, if you have any interest at all, you can come up in whatever you drive. On one of my newsletters, I put, you bring your car, your truck, your motorcycle, your spaceship, whatever you've got. We're happy to have you. The cost is $30 per year. You get a monthly newsletter. We have a club calendar made, and the calendar features members' cars at different events throughout the previous year. It's a lot of good information. We have a classified section trying to find all those hard-to-find Oldsmobile parts. And if you're looking for a car, there's information there, and a list of different car shows. It's a pretty informative newsletter. It usually runs about 12 pages or so.
I know the vice president, Pat. She does an amazing job.
She does.
She gets it out on time.
She does.
And
yep.
she keeps everyone informed of what's going on with the club and around the state, when the next meeting is, what time, where you got to be there. She does a great job of keeping that all organized.
She keeps the wheels rolling on the Oldsmobile Club, that's for sure.
Okay, let's talk about the end of production in 2004. Well, how'd that impact the club?
Well, obviously all the dealers closed up. We started having our meetings where the majority of the membership is in the Tampa Bay area, I guess. Although we have gone to, we have a show in Auburndale and Ocala, all throughout the Hillsborough, Pinellas counties. We're participating, Polk County, but the parts, you have to get specialty parts made, and not all models or parts are available for anymore. So you've got to have reliable sources for used body panels and things like that, seats, or just all kinds of different things. Some stuff's remanufactured, and they do a pretty good job, but it's really put a strain on the people that have the Oldsmobiles.
I bet. But back then, it seems like the club moved more to Oldsmar or the Tampa Bay area.
Yes, it did. And I can tell you this, that we make it known when we're at our national event that we have Oldsmar in our jurisdiction, and that's a feather in our hat. We really pride ourselves on having Ransom's town that he started back in the day, which he thought it was going to be a flop, but if he could see it now, he'd know otherwise.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Let's explore some ideas. How many annual car shows does the club participate in? Probably per year?
Well, we try to schedule our meetings around shows if we can. So maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 different car shows, and then we have our meetings. Other times we go into museums or collections, different collectors. Even some of our members invite us to their homes and show us, some of the things they've collected through the years. And we have our meeting. Then we all every meeting ends up with a luncheon somewhere, and we all just talk cars. We all speak that language. So.
One of the things that is really important to the City of Oldsmar is the parade. You guys really getting involved. You do escort the dignitaries, the House representative, the council members, Senator Ed Hooper. That's a great event. What do you think about that? Do you get excited about that?
We love it. We love it. We actually get a thrill out of lining up and cruising around and seeing everybody waving, and everybody's just having such a great time, and we really enjoy that. And people just wait for it. That's one of our big events. That's probably one of our main events for the year.
What I love about it is there's Oldsmobiles I've never seen before. People come out with their cars from wherever they are, from Florida. They come to that event.
Right.
It's a great event. And then after, you go to Ari Olds Park to the west side and have a car show.
We have our car show, and it's free to the public. Come in and check it out. Yeah.
And the Olds Club has their board meeting. They have a meeting.
We do have our meeting right there underneath one of the picnic shelters.
Yeah, we should invite people out because more members come out.
Everybody's welcome. Anybody who comes up is welcome.
One year we cooked hot dogs. I think a couple of years ago.
One year you cooked hot dogs.
I cooked the hot dogs for everybody. I know. I remember that. You remember that, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I think you were just new to that.
I was.
Let's talk about your Oldsmobiles. I have a 1983 Cutlass Supreme Brougham two-door.
Yeah.
What do you got?
That's a nice car. I've got a 68 442 convertible. It's triple black, black body, black top, black interior, with a red stripe down the front fenders, and it's a 4-speed car. And then I've got a 66 Toronado. Actually, I've got 3 of them. 2 of them are parts cars because that's one of the cars you can't find parts for. So you find a good deal on a car, and you just get the whole car. And I've got a 1991 custom cruiser wagon, and we actually drove that to Tennessee last year for the Nationals, with 170,000+ miles on it, AC on, and we were doing, might have been doing a little over the speed limit, but it cruised. It was like you're riding on a cloud, and no issues at all. It was a great car, and it took a first place in its class.
That's great. It's nice that you have a place to park all them cars.
Yes, yeah. I've got 5 acres, so I got plenty of room.
Wow, good for you.
In a big garage.
So where do you find the Toronados, the parts cars? You just find them online?
I found those 2 locally. I found one on the East Coast. It was actually at a storage facility. Somebody found it. I found it online, and another one was just outside Orlando, and they were relatively inexpensive. You just have to go get them, drag them up on the trailer and they both had a common problem. They must have come from up north because the frame on the left rear was rusted through. So they weren't parked because they didn't run anymore. They parked because they were in up north somewhere on salty roads.
Interesting.
But, plenty of good parts otherwise.
That's great. All right, let's talk about upcoming gatherings or events. What's the big show coming up?
Our big show of the year is the BOPC, and BOPC stands for Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, and Cadillac, and it's sponsored by the Olds Club of Florida. We do all the work in putting it together, and it's our big charity event. It's going to be in Auburndale, downtown Auburndale City Park, on October 22nd. And if you would like to enter a Buick, Olds, Pontiac, or Cadillac, you can just Google Olds Club of Florida. You can get an application, and it's not too late to sign up. And you can actually sign up on the day of show up until 11 o'clock. And so we're looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a record number of cars this year. We had about 170 last year. And I think we're going to go over 200 this year.
Well, I'll be selling raffle tickets this year, so I'm looking forward to helping the club out. And last year, I remember my wife Paul and I got there around 8:30 a.m. and the whole parking lot was full.
It was crazy. We have there was a SunTrust Bank across the street, and they allowed us to use their parking lot. They were closed on Saturday, and since then SunTrust has gone out of business, but they're still allowing us to use that facility. And so any overflow or trailer parking, some people bring cars in from Georgia and Tennessee. They trailer them good ways, and they park their trailers over there, and any overflow parking will go on there, and it's just across the street.
I remember there was one food truck, and that guy made a fortune.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He was so busy, and he had that fish sandwich that was absolutely delicious.
Well, we've got a different vendor this year.
Okay.
And they've got some off the wall stuff. It's called Mary Jane's Burgers, and they've got more than burgers, but it's like their own creations. I think it sounded good. It sounded very interesting and promising. And every time I try to call the guy, he can't talk. He's so busy preparing or running his truck. So he's in high demand, and he'll be in high demand in Auburndale for sure.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to that show. I love seeing all those old Fiero Pontiacs and the old Cadillacs. And it's a really neat show.
We're also going to have a swap meet there too. So some of those hard to find parts will be available there.
Great. Great. I look forward to seeing everyone out there, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, March, big day. Oldsmar Days Parade and Car Show. Are you ready?
I'm ready. And I'm always ready for that. We'll have a good turnout, I'm sure. We always look forward to the parade and meeting new people and just showing our cars.
Great. All right. So, John, anything else you want to add before you got anything else on you want to say before we go to question and answers for our people out there on Facebook?
No, just like I said, if you're interested in joining the club, all it takes is a phone call or Google Olds Club of Florida, and you can get in touch with us. And that's about it. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. All right, Barb, you're up. What questions do we have?
We do not have any.
All right. That means we have no one. Who knows, right?
Right.
Well, that's it. That's your weekend wake up. Thank you, John, for being our guest today. To learn more about the Olds Club of Florida, visit oldsclubofflorida.com. And thanks to everyone for watching this afternoon. Get up, get out, and enjoy Oldsmar. Thanks for watching.